In just 3 days, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. And Mark and I are all packed. We'll be headed to Washington. Oh, you better be packed. We're going to bring you live coverage of the inauguration. And I know, Mark, you were there for Donald Trump's first swearing in back in 2017 as press secretary to Vice President Mike Pence. I know a lot of planning goes into this day. You were a part of that planning in 2017. So what does the president and vice president's morning look like?
So it's really one of chaos because you're going to wake up in the morning as a private citizen and you're going to go to bed at night as the vice president and president of the United States. And all of your belongings are moved in a 5-hour period. So they've already moved them out of their normal traditional homes, but it's all waiting in a van. And because as soon as they get the president and vice president moved out, you're moving in, and 5 hours later, it's your new home.
Wow. Very bizarre. So about what time does their day start? Is this a very long day, inauguration day?
It's an enormously long day.
Yeah.
You start it depends. You start around 8 a.m. officially with the wake up. Then you go to the church service at St. John's, which is across the street from the White House. Then you go to the White House to meet with the president and the vice president. You exchange gifts there, have tea. The little secret about that is that the tea is actually designed to be a time sponge. So if they're running early, they can keep tea longer. If they're running late, they can shorten the tea. They have to leave at 10:20 a.m. They have to get in the motorcade, get to the Capitol, because the president of the United States has to take the oath of office prior to noon. So when that's when the actual transfer of power takes place.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, everything is perfectly timed on this day. There are no happy accidents. No. Everything has been planned out for about a year in advance, at least when it comes to security, too. I know that we've talked to Secret Service agents who said they're planning this a year in advance. And, of course, this committee is also planning all of this. This is the packet that you had from 2017.
This is the packet from 2017.
So this is all the things that the president and vice president need to know, and what the behind-the-scenes people need to know to make sure that they are at the places they're supposed to be at certain times.
I mean, it literally goes to the detail of when the president-elect and the president go out of the White House to get into the car to go to the Capitol. The president is still the president, so he gets into the passenger rear seat. The president-elect has to walk around to the other side, which he will never do again. He gets on in the other side, on the left behind the driver, to go to the Capitol. Of course, when they leave, he's back in the rear passenger because he's now the president. And it goes moment by moment. There's even instructions in here of how to salute.
I mean, because if they've never done it before, this is, a first time for everything. So a lot of firsts will be happening, obviously, on Monday as well. And then you have the motorcade that we all watch on television. Hundreds of cars are part of this motorcade. So I know you were in one of the cars following along in this motorcade. It's not too long, right? But what kind of conversations do you think are happening, especially in the car with the president-elect and the president?
Well, there's probably not a lot of conversation going on at that point, but you're really taken in by all the pageantry. You see the people lined up for the parade. You see the people who are lined up or working their way to go into the National Mall. And so you see the Capitol with the flags draping it out there. And so it's really, you're taking that moment in, but you also know in the back of your brain that when you take the car back, you're going to be in the inaugural parade. You're going to the White House for the first time. You saw the picture. I was standing outside the White House. I'd never been in the actual White House. I'd been in the offices and things like that. But when you come back, you're going into that building for the first time in just a few hours. And you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. So did you have any conversations with Mike Pence or possibly Donald Trump about what they were kind of feeling in those moments? Did Mike Pence ever say, wow, this is real?
No, I mean, he knew it. Obviously, he was a governor. He'd been a congressman. He knew what was coming. But I think there was that moment right before. There's a picture of him standing backstage before he gets introduced to go take the oath of office. There's one of the president as well. When I have to think that moment, when we're sitting there watching them and going, the moment is real. You're about to go out there and take that oath of office that we have seen so many people throughout history take that oath, and all of the people you can see down the National Mall, all of those people that are
Look at
standing
that.
out
That
there.
shot's incredible right there.
And it just, at that moment, you're like, this is about to happen.